amigos de Pontik, acá desde el stand de Storm Collectibles los quiero invitar para que sigamos disfrutando de todo lo que tenemos para enseñarles el día de hoy desde el San Diego Comic Con edición especial. Hola amigos de Pontik, ¿cómo están? Estoy muy emocionada porque hoy voy a conocer a estos 4 chicos. Ellos son los protagonistas de este show llamado Destination Fear. Para mí están locos porque van a buscar básicamente los lugares más aterradores en los Estados Unidos y alrededor del mundo. Así que vamos a que nos cuenten un poquito acerca de su experiencia y a conocer más del show.
All right, I am Dakota Layden.
I am Tanner Wiseman.
I am Chelsea Layden.
And I am Alex Schrader.
Guys, welcome to Pontik.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, how ended up on this show?
Well, you know, we've all been lifelong friends growing up together. We all grew up in the same neighborhood, and one of our hobbies growing up was urban exploring creepy abandoned buildings. And we did that most weekends, and even into college years we did that. And eventually we just took the hobby to the next step. We had seen, I think, probably at least a couple dozen places on our list, but we wanted to go farther. And yeah, we got here because of that. It's longer than that, but we basically had a passion from an early age.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we know the show is about fear. So far, what has been the worst experience ever? Do you have like the same or?
I think we have the same location, I would say, but like for me personally, the worst fear moment that I ever had was at Ohio State Reformatory. Tanner picked the location, and an experiment he had was it's an isolation experiment, I guess.
Yeah.
But we separate and sleep alone. And he had me shackled to a jail cell the entire night by my wrist. So I couldn't move, I couldn't get away. So if anything happened, I'm just stuck there no matter what. And Chelsea also got shackled by the leg to a jail cell at that same place. So
You're not wrong.
I wanted you guys to feel what it felt like to be a prisoner in there.
It felt great.
Did it? Well, we should do it again sometime.
I would say mine would be at a location called Randolph County Infirmary. Part of our show is sometimes there's curveballs thrown, and one of those sometimes is that you have to go into a building alone. And that was a location where I had to go into the building all by myself, nobody else inside the building, and I went to the basement, and I am not kidding, I heard clear as day something in the hallway with a female voice say hello, and it's very like the audible like sound, it comes through perfectly on the camera, and it actually brought me to tears. So I'd say that was by far my scariest. How about you, Tanner?
And then for me, it would definitely be Sweet Spring Sanatorium. We went to this place in West Virginia, and when we separated and we slept alone, I was down in the basement, and I started hearing voices that sounded just clear as day, as if someone was in the basement with me, followed by a loud thud, and it got me out of my sleeping arrangement. And once I called out saying, hey, is someone down here with me? That's when I heard another voice louder. And I called everyone on the team like, hey, I think someone's inside this building with us. And we did a clear sweep of the basement. There was no one there. We decided to go back to our sleeping arrangements. And then I heard the voice again, called everyone to my location, just be like, guys, I don't know what's going on here. I need some help. I need you guys with me. And then, boom, we heard the loudest scream of all time, and it made us leave the building right away.
I think like Sweet Spring Sanatorium, I think we can all agree is like probably the scariest place we've ever been. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like for me, more recently, we did a location in Ireland called Spike Island. And there was just something about that island that sat with me and has stuck with me ever since. And I genuinely, it might not have been as scary as Sweet Springs, but the activity was constant, and I think it was by far our most active and probably intense location. And that's in the new season too, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how do you guys choose the place?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so everyone gets a choice every road trip, and let's say Tanner's picking, that means none of us know until we pretty much get there and he tells us. And for me, the biggest criteria is size. It's got to be a massive abandoned building just because we separate and sleep alone every night. And so I do like finding bigger places just so that when we do sleep alone, we're separated and very scared.
And there's like a hidden criteria that we don't really talk about, but it's definitely there. And when I say it, everyone's going to agree. But we're all best friends, and we want the best location.
Yeah.
We want to outdo every one of us. We're all very competitive, so we want to have the scariest one, the one that's going to make us the most afraid. And that's definitely like, when we're looking at all of our choices, we try to pick the scariest one we could possibly think of.
Oh, sorry. For me, it would be, I have a medical background, and so I am completely fascinated by these medical facilities and kind of like the road to modern medicine and how we ended up getting to where we are today. And so I would say for me, I'm more fascinated by these really abandoned historic medical facilities.
For me, whenever I'm at home researching these, if it can give me goosebumps while I'm in the comfort of my own room, then I know it's a good choice. So that's kind of how I base it, is just the stories behind these buildings.
Is there any place you guys say you're never going to be there? It's really, really scary. I don't know.
There's some. There's an island in Italy called Pavaglia Island where they used to put people who were suffering from the Black Plague. And that's one of those like bucket list, but not bucket list locations where like I want to go, but I also really don't.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where we've announced where we are going for that night, and Dakota has been like, we are not ready for that one. Why are we going to that one right now? Like, that's the big leagues right there.
Okay, what do you think is worse, places here in America or outside the country?
That's a good question.
We only have two experiences outside the country, and that's Ireland. But I honestly, it's hard to say. We need a little more time, but I would say Ireland was worse, just with the extra history. You know, in America, we're dealing with a couple hundred years, but in Ireland, the spirits alone are a couple hundred years old at some of these places. Some of the spirits are twice as old as America, and you could feel that, like you just felt the constant energy and just, it was a different vibe.
Yeah.
I think going to a foreign country and foreign territory, it adds another element to fear, just the uncertainty and the unknowing of like uncharted territory. I think it adds to it for sure, I would say.
And like we know America's history really well. I mean, obviously because we're from here. So like that has a layer of fear because you're familiar with what has happened and all the layers of disgusting things that has actually happened in our history. And then I think on the flip side of that, when you go to a foreign country, so much of it, to us at least, is unknown. And that's kind of where you're a little uncomfortable not knowing what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And then the history alone, like everyone has said, is so much older, layered, richer, and you just never know what you're going to get.
And add an island to the mix. In Ireland, we went to an island, an isolated island. That was like...
Used to be a prison 4 times as big as Alcatraz. Doesn't get worse than that.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to top that one.
Not a lot of people will say they would want to spend the night there.
No.
Do you ever have like a real emergency?
Yeah, we've had.
Oh, yeah.
Alex had to go to the hospital
Yeah,
one night.
yeah. I don't know what happened, but as soon as we got into this location, I just started feeling sick. And it was one of the nights where we were doing solo. So like we would have a base camp kind of where our gear is set up. One person would go explore. When it came to my turn, I already felt like total crap at this point. And as soon as I started going in, it just got worse and worse. And I actually threw up in the location and had to be rushed to the hospital. And the weird thing for me is as soon as I left the building, I felt better. Yeah.
Like, as you know, like these buildings are completely decrepit. They are broken down. They are super dangerous. So I'm actually surprised, knock on wood, that we haven't had more injuries because they are completely rundown facilities.
Yeah.
It's a walking hazard, just going
Yeah.
in these buildings.
Okay, guys. All the fans, what's new on the show? Do you have any surprises or news or something?
I have some things I can't really say, but honestly, I think the biggest, coolest thing right now is that the Ireland episodes really are, they're coming out soon. We only have a couple more weeks till they're on Discovery Plus and Travel Channel, and I think those are our most exciting episodes we've ever shot, and it's just different. It's a whole new, like if you're a fan of Destination Fear in America, you're gonna absolutely love the Ireland episodes.
Okay, how can fans find you guys on social media?
Yeah. I mean, you can go to the Destination Fear Instagram page or Twitter page, and from there you should be able to find all of our individual handles. That's probably the easiest way.
At Destination Fear on both Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it so much.
Yes. Awesome.
No se les olvide suscribirse aquí en el logo de Pontik para que estén enterados de todo lo que les traemos cada semana.
Hey everybody, it is the Destination Fear crew, and we are inviting you to check us out on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus.
Check us out.
Definitely watch it.
Tune in.
Creo que no hay mejor forma de terminar un día en el Comic Con que de la mano de Goku. Sé que soy la envidia de muchos en este momento, así que con esto nos despedimos de un día más, una edición más, muchas emociones acá en el Comic Con, edición especial 2021. Espero hayan disfrutado. Nos vemos la próxima semana y no olviden suscribirse a nuestro canal de Pontik Latinoamérica y seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales. Suscríbete ya a nuestro canal en youtube.com/Pontik para que nos veas todas las semanas.